You're listening to We're Talking Sports with Ben Burns and Richie Donnell. Remember to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now, without further ado, Ben Burns and Richie Donnell. Alrighty, happy Wednesday.
Yeah, start of finals for me.
Yeah, this is the earliest we've recorded.
Yeah,
it's 9 a.m.
That's very true.
Yeah, but we're halfway through finals week.
Yeah, halfway through,
yeah.
and hopefully, I think we're both done at about this time Friday. We'll both be free to go, and
we're gonna be in a good mood because, and I'm gonna be really tired because not only do we have an exam 7:45, but that night I'm seeing Star Wars.
Oh,
and
Thursday night.
I don't know if I'm
Friday
gonna be able to focus on sports.
Yeah, are you going Thursday night to the?
I'm going
premiere?
Thursday night.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, at the 10:35 show. So.
Okay. Was because I know they do have 7 o'clock. So was 7 o'clock sold out already?
I was gonna go see it at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
I could have reserved a ticket there, but I wanted to see it with somebody.
Okay.
So
you had to wait till 10 o'clock.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that.
From my guess, I mean, from everything that I've seen, it's well worth being tired during an exam.
Yeah.
From everything that I've seen.
And
so.
another thing is, I might have to be off of social media for the next couple days because internationally, Star Wars just came out today.
So they're gonna be
yeah
spoilers everywhere. So stay off Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff.
Yeah. Let's talk some sports.
Yeah. Today, little NFL stuff. Baseball, basketball, college football, the usual, but not a lot happening. Obviously, the big news breaker late last night.
Big news, Bo Ryan
is probably going to be the hot topic today. So, should we get into it?
Let's do it. Okay,
right.
I'm Ben Burns.
Richie Donnell.
We are talking sports. All right, so top of the show, I just kind of wanted to get this out of the way. I don't like talking about fantasy football a lot.
Okay.
I love fantasy football. I do, but I don't like talking about it because I feel like some people care about fantasy football more than actual football.
Agreed.
I'm not one of them, even though I'm really big into it.
Right.
But, so, I gotta tell you, I'm in this very competitive league. I've been in it since 6th grade.
Okay.
So, I made the playoffs at 6-7.
Okay.
Yeah. And then coming into the Monday night game, I was down, I think it was 114-80.
Ooh.
I was down by a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Odell Beckham Jr.
Saved your life, huh?
He saved my butt. And I also had Will Tye, the Giants tight end.
Yeah.
Started him. He ended up getting 9 points, scored a touchdown. I won 117-114.
Oh, jeez.
I am.
Now, are you? Yours isn't 2 weeks for the playoffs.
So it's kind of like the NFL playoffs. So it starts out with 6 teams. The top 2 get byes.
Okay.
I ended up being the 5 seed.
Okay.
So I played the 4 seed.
Yep.
And what's really awesome, I'm playing the 1 seed next week, but they had Andy Dalton.
Ooh.
Yes.
So you're pumped for that.
And it's a 2 quarterback league. So you start 2 quarterbacks.
Yep.
I can't remember who his other quarterback is, but it's nobody noteworthy.
Yeah.
But
I'm
pumped.
That's how my
I'm
league
excited.
is as well. 2 quarterbacks, but we have IDPs, the individual defensive players. So our rosters are really, really big. But the thing is, I don't like huge leagues with 10 to 12. People like those because they're usually standard. I like smaller leagues because you're not trying to find guys who are like third running backs and hope that the guy in front of him gets hurt, you know?
I just like it when you're with people that you know.
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
I'm in 3 leagues. One of the leagues I don't know anybody.
Yep.
Another league, the league I'm talking about, like I'm with family members and stuff mostly. Another league I do with a friend.
Yeah. I feel like that's the best way to do to do fantasy football, because then you can talk crap to the other ones, and like I know for us, for our league, I'm actually working on getting a league trophy.
I think that's great. You know what we should do? We should do a We're Talking Sports fantasy football league.
Ooh. Each week, like a DraftKings, pick one each week.
Well, no. Like, we'll have a live draft here.
Okay.
And get some of the staples of the show. Obviously Chuck.
Yeah.
Maybe Dan Underberg.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Yeah.
I'm definitely down for
That'd
that.
be fun. That'd be good on radio stuff, and then we can talk about why we drafted the guys.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
I'm all for that. So let's we'll get to Bo Ryan a little later.
Yep.
But to stay on the topic of the NFL, another Fuller brother is going to the NFL. Kendall tore his ACL at the beginning of the year and missed 9 games. So he has declared Mel Kiper as him at number 18 overall. I kind of want to ask you, it relates to like the Todd Gurley situation getting hurt. Now, I think Kendall is a senior, but do you feel that it's smart, to come out after an injury? I mean, some guys like I think Todd Gurley, we kind of knew he was legit despite the injury, but you get some guys who get hurt and still come out anyway. I don't know if
I don't know. That's tough. Personally, obviously Gurley was going to be big either way. I think the tough thing, especially for Fuller, is he going to be able to participate in pre-draft workouts, which can be so big, especially for, your pro day, your combine, maybe even a Senior Bowl. Senior Bowl seems to be the place where guys can really boost their attributes, like Eric Fisher. That's pretty much why he was number 1 overall.
Yeah.
But then even talking about going into mini camp and training camp, those first training camps are so essential to rookies. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not sure if he was a senior or not.
Yeah, I don't know for sure.
Well, but if he declared, that means he had a choice.
Yeah. So
I don't know.
That brings me to my next point, kind of with what Chicago did this year with Kevin White, who they said this week he will not play the entire season, obviously, and they drafted him, and he I believe he was hurt when he got drafted. So, I mean, for somebody who's sitting on that side, I don't understand the concept of drafting, especially when you're a top pick. Now, the Patriots have done it where they've drafted guys who are hurt, but the Patriots are usually picking at the bottom of the first round, which is different because you don't necessarily need this guy to come in and play. But it upsets me that my team's drafting a guy who's going to essentially sit a year. I don't.
Well, I don't think they were anticipating that.
Yeah, I mean there was talk that there was a possibility that he was going to be back by week 7 or 8. But as much talk as there was about that, there was also the talk that he was going to sit, and they were just going to tell him, dude, just work and come back next year. I just don't.
Well, I mean, I don't know how optimistic you are right now, but I think the Bears are kind of done.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're done this year. Right.
Okay. I'm just checking.
No,
but
we're done this year.
I think, going into next year for training camp, you're essentially getting 2 first-round picks.
Yeah.
Kevin White and whoever comes up. We know that Kevin White, he still has the potential. Seeing what he did his senior year at West Virginia, and now he gets to spend the offseason with the Bears. With their training facility, if Cutler is coming back, catching passes from him.
Right.
So I think that is important. And I wouldn't play him right now. I doubt he's 100%.
Yeah, I doubt that as well.
But, they had a need at wide receiver. I have no issue with them drafting Kevin White, even though he's sitting.
Yeah. Okay. I was just never a fan of Kevin White, so maybe there's a little bit of biasy there. I wasn't happy with the pick. So it's frustrating to see him.
If you had the choice between Kevin White and Amari, you would have picked Amari Cooper, but they didn't have that option.
Right. And for me on draft day, I was praying that the Jets didn't take Leonard Williams because I knew if we got Leonard Williams that it was that type of.
How about, would you have drafted Kevin White or anybody else like Brashad Perriman?
I don't think that
you got to go White.
Right now, I think so. Perriman is in the same boat. Perriman's hurt. Let's
talk about back in April, May. during the draft.
Yeah. Well, Perriman kind of came out of nowhere. He had
a lot of these receivers did.
Yeah, he had a great combine, and I think people saw him as a second-round pick type of deal, and he blew up at the combine because he was so big and so fast that he just catapulted himself into the first round because of the workout that he had. I thought that second-round pick, he would have been a great second-round pick.
Definitely.
And the other one that I didn't quite understand either was Devontae Parker, who he's been up and down this year as well, as a rookie down in Miami, where I thought he was overdrafted, but those were the next two guys. I think Kevin White had a better body of work in college. He was more, he did it at a higher level. I mean, Devontae Parker played in the ACC, but he was never healthy. And Central Florida was barely coming into the American, and they were in the Conference USA. So, I mean, there was a big transition from a mid-major conference to the NFL, where I think when you put it in that perspective, yes, I think it just upset me that I thought we needed a tough situation. Yeah, I thought we needed a defensive player more importantly than we needed a wide receiver. But I think at the time we had not traded Brandon Marshall yet. So for me, it was like drafting a wide receiver. It was kind of like, what's going on here? I don't understand why they're drafting another receiver. Plus, there was high hopes for Marquise Wilson. It just didn't sit well with me.
I got a couple things before we move on. First of all, love these headphones.
Oh, yeah?
I was complaining about them before the show, but I'm loving the feel to it.
Okay.
They're staying. Second of all, we're talking about how, they're sitting White for the rest of the year.
Yep.
Is it kind of the same boat, do you think, for the Packers with Ty Montgomery? Now, he's been hurt for a little while.
Yeah. I think Montgomery's situation is a little bit different because Ty Montgomery, when they drafted him, I don't think he was expected to come in and have an immediate impact outside of special teams.
Right, and I mean he kind of did. He showed flashes.
Right, and he was a kick returner. He was an all-purpose guy at Stanford, and he was a good returner. So I think Green Bay knew he was going to come in and be on special teams, but he showed during preseason that he was catching on to things quickly. He was making some good plays. He had a very decent preseason. But I think what benefited him was the injuries to Jordy Nelson. I mean, everybody had to move up because essentially now Jordy Nelson's gone. Randall Cobb now becomes your number one target. Devontae Adams moves up. And I think Montgomery was, if they would have ran a 4-wide receiver set, you would have seen Nelson, Adams, Cobb, and Montgomery.
Definitely.
And Montgomery just happened to move up, in my opinion, because Nelson went down, so Montgomery moved up to get that opportunity.
Well, I'm just thinking, with the addition of James Jones, and I'm still holding out for both Janis and Abbrederis. Mm-hmm. And the Packers certainly, I think they'll make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. I think that's safe to say. But I just think maybe it is smart to just let him mend from this injury, and come into 2016 with both Nelson and Montgomery.
Yeah. At this point in the season, I don't think we'll see Montgomery again,
and I don't have an issue with that.
Right. I think if he was healthy, obviously he'd be playing. But I think because it's an injury, and I don't know the severity of it.
Yeah, neither do I.
But just the fact that he is hurt, and being this late in the season, and the Packers are still able to find success in other wide receivers and other targets, especially with Richard Rodgers, the way that he's been playing the last 2 weeks. He had very good weeks, obviously against Detroit, and then he scored again, another touchdown again this past week. I don't think that time they're in a need that they need to rush Montgomery and they can just let him sit.
And even for special teams, Jeff Janis.
Right. Janis had a great game. Returns. Yeah. And on punt as a gunner, he was one of the big bright spots of their game that stood out.
He's kind of a bigger Steve Tasker almost.
Yeah. Actually, it was kind of funny. I was having this conversation with Chuck about Janis and the way that he's able to play on special teams, and I brought up Matthew Slater that we had talked about, and Chuck made a comment. He goes, "For all you Packer fans out there, think of Jeff Janis as Travis Jervey."
Okay.
Because Jervey, I guess, was just a special teams all-star, and that's kind of where Janis is headed for right now. And obviously, he'll get more wide receiver time, is the hope.
I think he's headed for bigger things.
Yeah.
I think Janis is headed for bigger things other than special teams.
Yeah. We'll just wait and see right now. So we talked about Monty Ball working out with the Packers a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
He's officially been added to the Patriots. So the Patriots just continue to.
Are they going to trade for Melvin Gordon now? Get John Clay? Let's get everybody.
They might as well. I mean, they added him to the practice squad, so they lost LeGarrette Blount for the season.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing it was kind of like just a dire need there. So we'll see if he gets playing time.
Let me ask you this question. So where are they headed at running back now? Obviously, James White has been a big part of their receiving game.
Yep.
Even last week, I thought his numbers would go down with Gronkowski coming back. He still was effective, but Brandon Bolden got the majority of the carries. Yep. Not even fantasy-wise, but just football-wise, who's the guy you give the ball to now?
Well, the Patriots have always been season.
They've had a lot of backs.
Well, this year especially, if you watch in the beginning of the year, they had Blount and they had Dion Lewis.
Yes.
And Dion Lewis wasn't necessarily a guy who was going to get 20 carries because he's a small guy.
He was kind of the Danny Woodhead,
yes,
Kevin Falk of the
He would get out and he'd run routes and he'd make plays in space because he's just a great weapon, but he lines up in the backfield, whereas LeGarrette Blount was the guy you give 20 carries to, let him rumble, stumble, and do his thing. I think that that's kind of what the Patriots have fallen into with their running game. I think with James White, obviously we saw James White in Madison, where he's a dynamic guy. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can run if he needs to, but he's just an overall weapon as an athlete.
Right.
And I think Brandon Bolden will continue to be the guy that they go forward with, giving the carries to. Unless Monty Ball shows something that deserves promotion, I think it's going to be Bolden and White from here on out, unless another injury occurs or something on Monty Ball's end were to change.
And going back to Monty Ball, Monte, he changed
Monte.
the pronunciation. With Monte working out with the Packers, I'm not upset that the Packers didn't sign him because I think they have something with John Crockett.
Yeah, well, and John Crockett, we talked about, he had a good week against Detroit. He showed a little bit of flash there.
He did.
That there's a possibility that someday down the line he could be the future of the running back position for Green Bay, depending upon how the contracts work out. But right now, I mean, with watching Green Bay this past week, Eddie Lacy has his play has been good. I mean, it's been better than good.
I was more than impressed.
Yeah, it all started with that Chicago game. I mean, he did have a fumble, but that Chicago game woke something up in him. He went for 107 on Thanksgiving, and he's been good ever since. And I think not that Mike McCarthy did anything different than what Tom Clements was doing, but they've kind of found a groove on how to use those two simultaneously and use them together. And that's important with the running back because some running backs get better as the game goes on. Some are really good in the beginning, and then, like an Eddie Lacy. Eddie Lacy can only get so many carries because of his size, and he's not going to be able to go on a 40-yard run and then come in and get another carry. And that's where they benefit from having James Starks, who's a little bit shiftier, he's a little bit more agile, and Lacy's kind of your workhorse. And I think they finally found the complementary work style to put both of them in to be successful.
Couldn't have said it better.
So, the Broncos, looking at Trent Richardson. It made me laugh because I thought his career was over.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, we see the running backs that the Broncos have with C.J. Anderson and Ronnie Hillman. And to me, none of them resemble or even I think both of them put together equal the size of Trent Richardson because he's just that big of a person. I don't know how he fits. I don't understand this.
I don't know either. I think, when it comes to guys like Trent Richardson's, guys that just had such a great college career, they're going to get several chances. And, this is going to be Richardson's fourth chance.
Yeah.
Probably his last chance.
Yeah, I agree. And another guy, in a similar mold, now, obviously different reasons, Trent Richardson just seems to not get it done. But we have seen it work. I mean, I don't think by any means Darren McFadden has been terrible for Dallas, but he had a good game. His issue was injuries, obviously.
Right.
But I think you kind of see what McFadden has been able to do in Dallas, and Denver may think, oh well, if we can get Trent Richardson in here as a specialty guy, maybe just have him do short yardage or goal line stuff, that it could work.
If you would have asked me back in August, I was big on Joseph Randle.
Okay.
And I kind of thought that Randall would end up, getting 20, 25 carries a game
Yeah.
by this time, and I thought this would have been McFadden's last year. So I got to give props to Darren McFadden.
Yeah. He's a really good back. He just needed a chance to stay healthy.
The jury's still out for the next couple of years, though, for him.
Well, right. Yeah.
Just because, he's got to be 30 now.
I think he was the Calvin Johnson draft, if I remember correctly.
Yes, he was.
And I know he did have some. I know for sure he had at least one 1,000-yard rushing year in
He had
Oakland.
one. He's 28.
Okay, but
Thank you, Google.
The only thing with McFadden is, I mean, watching McFadden at Arkansas, he was.
I loved
he
him
very
at
much was the
Arkansas.
real deal, and he was poised for greatness. He's just one of those guys, I think, that falls into the category with Penny Hardaway and Grant Hill, where it's going to be the what if. You know, you see the talent, you see the flashes, you see the good things that they can do, but it's always going to be the what if they never got hurt.
That Arkansas team, that offense is one of my favorite of all time.
Yes.
Him and Felix Jones,
Yep.
I think I like the Razorbacks better than Badgers that year.
Ooh.
I loved them.
Okay.
And I was big on McFadden coming into the draft. Was that the same year? Wait. So McFadden, they drafted McFadden. Oh,
Number 3. Oakland drafted McFadden, and Dallas drafted Felix Jones.
So it wasn't the Calvin Johnson year, because the Raiders drafted DeMarcus that year.
Yeah, but I thought Calvin was the same year as DeMarcus.
Yeah, but McFadden wasn't. McFadden was the same year of Matt Ryan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I was just thinking, because it's
McFadden
not
was
the
number
same.
4 overall, not 3?
McFadden was 4.
4 overall.
Glenn Dorsey
okay.
5.
I thought he was 3. Okay, because I was
Yeah.
going to say Matt Ryan, I know for sure was number 3.
Because the Calvin Johnson year, that's when Adrian Peterson was drafted, and
Okay.
Peterson was obviously the
right.
number 1 back in
Yeah,
that draft.
yeah, and he came out hurt as well.
That's true.
So a lot of hurt guys, a lot of guys that are
Running
coming
a
into the
lot
league.
of running backs too.
Yeah, it's
They come into
unfortunate.
the draft hurt.
It breaks my heart as a running backs coach to know our guys are soft. So we talked about teams moving to Los Angeles, and the NFL, for whatever reason, is trying to keep the Rams in St. Louis. So yesterday, the NFL has said that they're willing to pay $100 million towards St. Louis's stadium to make renovations
interesting.
to keep them there, even though Kroenke wants to leave.
I think they want both the Raiders and the Chargers to go to LA.
Okay.
And maybe they want to keep the Rams there because St. Louis is just a better sports city.
Yeah.
You know, they got the Cardinals, they got the Blues,
Yep.
Both of which have a very large fan base, and obviously they want a team kind of in that Midwestern area.
Yeah, and one of the things that was said about that was that if 2 teams do end up in Los Angeles, one would go to the AFL, one in the or not
AFC.
AFL, sorry, AFC, NFC. I mean,
Really?
That was what was said.
That's dumb.
That if they got 2 teams in Los Angeles,
We don't need to change the conferences.
I'm just saying that's
So okay, but if it is AFC and NFC,
Somebody would have to
send
switch.
the Rams.
somebody
send the
would
Rams.
have to switch. Yeah,
I don't like that
I
at
don't
all.
know. I don't know that they don't want 2 teams in the same division, same conference playing in the same stadium. I don't know. I don't know.
That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I don't want the Raiders or the Chargers in the NFC.
Yeah.
That screws up everything.
Huh?
But then who are you going to send? So obviously one of them's going to go to the NFC West.
Yeah, it's
Are
probably
you
what would
sending the
happen.
Rams?
Honestly, here, what I think about this is if they do decide to do that. If
I don't like that
if,
at all.
If 2 teams move, okay, just I want to look at it this way.
Yeah.
If 2 teams moved, then they said, okay, we're going to switch one in the NFC and we're going to keep one in the AFC. Okay, I would want it to be where it like what happened when Tampa Bay left the Central and they made the East. Realign everybody, because there is no reason Indianapolis should be in the AFC South. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you're gonna force a team to go from the AFC to the NFC, and you're gonna try to configure something out west to make it work, redo everybody. Now, I'm not saying like do everybody at least where it makes sense. Because like the NFC North, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Minnesota, Green Bay,
For sure.
Chicago,
For
Detroit.
sure.
That makes sense. But when you have Miami in the East and everybody that they play is up in New England in terms of the Bills, the Jets, and the Patriots, why not they be in the South and you move Indianapolis? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Some of these teams that don't make sense in the division that they're in, switch them so that way things do make sense and that they can kind of configure it all at one time, and instead of having to do all these separate moves or try to make a special occasion for Los Angeles.
Yeah, I agree that the AFC South is a mess. Indianapolis and even the Titans.
Right.
They're not very southern, I guess. But, yeah, I wouldn't want to be the person realigning all that. It may make sense to send the Seahawks to the AFC. They used to be in the AFC.
Yep.
But at the same time, the Seahawks have kind of been known as an NFC team.
Right.
Now, this is the best they've ever been.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Yeah,
We just keep them where they're at.
Yeah,
Come on.
I don't know. Now, maybe I don't know if that's now. I know that the Jets and the Giants have always been in their respective conference.
Right.
I don't know if they're looking at that situation where maybe there's like a schedule conflict or whatnot. With both of them being in the same division, same conference. I don't know. But
And I think it works the way it is right now. The AFC and the NFC works because it's almost historic. Most of
right.
the AFC teams are the teams that came from the American Football League.
Yep.
And it's almost like keeping it all intact now. Now, like you said, the Colts were originally NFL.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it does make sense to send them to the NFC. I don't have an issue with that.
Yeah. I honestly don't have.
I don't.
I don't think I have an issue with anybody. I mean, obviously, as we see, the teams in the NFC North, being Green Bay and Chicago, are the oldest franchises in history. And I think if they were to get switched, you would see a lot of upset people.
Yes.
So I don't think that you would move somebody like that, or a Pittsburgh Steeler. You wouldn't switch somebody like that. But if they were to switch, like you said, an Indianapolis Colts, or even a Houston Texan who's still
Right.
new, or a
That's
Tennessee
true.
Titan, and switch them, I don't think you're really messing with a whole lot, because those teams, I mean, granted, you want to say the rivalries or whatever, but I don't feel like you're really messing with a whole lot by just moving that team who has a short life, I guess, a short history.
Can I just say something about the Titans? I hate the name. I hate the Titans. Why can't they go back to the Oilers? Like, just because they moved to Tennessee?
Yeah, I don't.
Come on,
they were the Tennessee Oilers their first year.
For like a year, and then they rebranded everything. They need to be the Oilers.
Yeah, I have no
I
idea.
love the Oilers jerseys.
I don't.
too.
I mean, I don't know if I'm trying to think if I've ever seen a team relocate and keep their name. I don't know if I've ever.
Well, the Rams.
Yep, true that.
I mean,
The Raiders.
the Chargers.
Yeah.
Uh,
But I mean, like, the Lakers were the Lakers in Minnesota.
right,
but-
and that name is stuck.
Yeah, I don't know what the issue was there. So, but let's calm down. Let's get a break and settle down from all this NFL talk. Roger Goodell has finds good ways to piss people off.
He does. He does. All right, we'll be right back. Hey, Richie, wouldn't it be great if we were playing in the NFL today?
Oh, absolutely. I would love to play in the NFL, but not Cleveland.
What? Oh, come on. If I weren't going to play for any team, it would be for the Detroit Lions. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah, Cleveland's just as bad.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Let you settle the debate. Go on Facebook, comment, tell us who you would least want to play for, the Browns or the Lions. All right. We're back.
So, yesterday, I mean, the Brewers have been making moves. They signed Will Middlebrooks to a spring training invite. They're signing all these guys, and I think they're hoping to find a diamond in the rough, obviously, going forward. And we talked about the rebuilding process. But I want to ask you this. In terms of free agency,
Oh, okay.
when is it time for the Brewers to finally spend some money in the free agent market?
Now.
I mean, now? Okay.
Now.
I mean, they let Prince walk out the door, and Prince got a big deal. So, I mean, don't get me wrong.
Actually, I still think there is a way where they can win without all the money.
Okay.
And it's through the farm system.
Yeah, I agree.
That's how they got a guy like Ryan Braun.
Mm-hmm. Well, and they also spent the entire '90s losing to get Ryan Braun, Ricky Weeks, Corey Hart, Prince Fielder.
Yeah, and the season where they made the NLCS, that was a really good team.
Yeah, it was a good team, and Giovanni was another guy that we had in Ben Sheets.
But I just think the only way they're gonna get a big name player is trade for a guy that has 1 year left on the contract. We saw that with CC Sabathia.
Yep.
They had a fantastic season there because of their pitching.
Right.
And then we saw it again with Greinke.
Yep.
That didn't work out as well.
Yeah.
But still a fantastic pitcher.
Yeah.
And that just saddens me. That's the only way we're gonna get a big name player.
Well, I agree, because I think, to me, the one thing that it always comes back to is watching our division rival, the St. Louis Cardinals, constantly just walk guys out there who people have never heard of. Somebody goes down, let's just say one of their stars goes down. Like when they had Jason Hayward. If Jason Hayward got hurt, they would march some guy out there to right field who we've never heard of before, and all of a sudden the guy's a legit starter for the next whatever. They've constantly done it. When Albert Pujols left, I think everybody thought, St. Louis is definitely going to fall off a little bit, and they go out and win a World Series.
Right. I think we do have a lot of diamonds in the rough in our minor league teams. Mm-hmm. It's just that we end up getting rid of them all.
Yeah, that's true.
Alcides Escobar, Lorenzo Cain, they're now winning World Series with the Royals.
Yep. And Aoki was a part of that team.
That's true.
Or he was a part of the team that lost.
Right.
I don't think he was there last year for the World Series, but he was a part of the team that made it and lost. But yeah,
we just have so many guys, and then we end up, trading them away for a guy like Greinke or Sabathia that only stay for a half a season.
Yeah.
So,
so I kept bringing up this thought of how much is too much in terms of Major League Baseball, about putting in a salary cap when they need to do it and things like that. And one of the things I saw yesterday is starting to come to fruition here that I kept bringing up. They're saying right now that Bryce Harper will get $500 million
well,
in a contract. Now, he won the MVP, so they can say, well, he's an MVP guy. If you're going to give a guy $500 million, how many years is that contract going to have to be? That's a lot of money to invest in one person.
I don't know. That's got to be, trying to do the math in my head. I don't know. It's got to be like 12 years.
So if we go, 12. If you take $500 million divided by 12 years, you're looking at $41 million a year.
I was thinking about probably about, he's going to get about 40 a year.
I would. That's
which
just
is
insane
nuts
to me.
It's insane.
I would feel like that would have to be a 20-year deal at $25 million a year for me to even, as an organization, think about offering that. Whew. That's $500 million for one player.
No,
I'm with you.
I'm not offering any contract over 7 years.
Okay, so even the Cubs with the 8 years, 186. You're
no
okay.
way.
And I know the Yankees also with A-Rod got him at 10 years, 275 when they first signed him.
That's just too much. And then with A-Rod, I don't think you could have seen the whole steroid thing coming.
Right.
So
he wasn't
anything can happen in 10 years.
Yeah. So we're gonna jump from baseball to basketball here. I want to get your take on this. As a guy whose favorite team is in the West, the talks of DeMarcus Cousins being traded are starting to just come ablaze.
Okay.
Teams are calling nonstop right now because obviously we know the issue between Cousins and George Karl. One is going to have to leave at some point.
Yeah.
Whether it's they fire George Karl or they get rid of their best, or probably their best player, and find a new guy. As a Mavs fan, would you rather see DeMarcus Cousins leave the West, or would you say just keep firing your coaches and keep losing games?
I think the team that the Kings have right now, if they utilize their talent, they're a playoff team, even in the West.
Okay.
With Cousins, Rondo, Rudy Gay, Ben McLemore has a ton of potential still. They're a legit team, but it just seems like they don't work cohesively.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just keep them in Sacramento, I actually thought, I heard that both Cousins and Rondo had a meeting with George Karl. It was like a 2-hour meeting.
Right.
It sounded like it was very positive. Now, I know Rondo is very wishy-washy,
Yes, yeah.
being a Mavs fan. I know plenty about that now. But, yeah, just keep him in Sacramento. It seems like they're just going to keep losing, even with George Karl as head coach, which... Who else are they gonna get better than George Karl for a situation like this?
Right.
It's not like a guy like Pop is gonna become available anytime
Maybe
soon.
all of a sudden Vladdy just fires. Maybe Vladdy just fires George Karl and decides he's gonna run the whole show. Vladdy is gonna be driving the ship of the Sacramento Kings.
Why not?
The one thing that does scare me though is there was 2 teams that are mentioned about trying to go get Cousins, and that's the Chicago Bulls and the Miami Heat.
Are they both going to trade Rose?
My guess would be they'd probably throw Gibson in there, maybe Noah, somebody like that has a bigger contract but can still be an effective player.
Okay,
I could
see them trading Joakim Noah.
I couldn't see them parting with Rose, but yeah, I agree with you with Noah.
Yeah, okay.
Miami, I don't know. I know that there's been talks of possibly Dragic being gone.
I think they'd have to trade away Whiteside.
Yes, Whiteside would probably have to be a part of that
Probably
deal as well.
Amare.
But those 2 teams scare me the most because if they get DeMarcus Cousins, you can lock them in for essentially going to the Eastern Conference Finals, I feel like. With Miami, Cousins and Bosh complement each other very well. And when you have a dynamic guard like Dwayne Wade, that's special. And then when you have a point guard center combo like Derrick Rose and DeMarcus Cousins playing together, that is also dangerous. And as a Bucks fan, I obviously don't want to see these teams get better. I want to see them get worse because I want my team to succeed. I want you guys to keep DeMarcus Cousins in the West and just let him be your problem.
Just keep him in Sacramento. It seems like he's not causing too much of a fuss. He'll make the All-Star team fine. Maybe even start. Go for it. But, hey, just keep him there.
Just keep him there. Don't trade him.
Yeah.
Okay. So we talked about Corey Clement coming back. The possibility of coming back, the possibility of the bowl game, and then obviously the charges brought up against him. He has officially announced he is coming back for next year. So, can we expect big things out of him? This year was kind of a wash, so to speak.
Best case scenario, I think 2016 can kind of be a redemption year for him.
Okay.
We know he has the talent to be a fantastic back. And it also gives the guys behind him kind of an extra year to become that, his Robin, basically, to his Batman, kind of what we saw with every other running back for the Badgers in the past 5 years. So... to me, that's kind of exciting.
Okay. Before we get into Bo Ryan, which is going to be our topic, I'm guessing, for probably the remainder here, I was looking on a website yesterday, and this came up, and it was the funniest thing I've seen in a long time. So Coach Herman, he's the head coach of the Houston Cougars football team, he made a bet with the team that if they won the American Conference, which they did, that he would get fitted for a diamond grill. So, because they won the conference, they posted pictures on their Twitter page of him sitting in a chair at some grill shop in Houston, molding his mouth because apparently he has to go through with this bet to get a diamond grill. Would you ever get something like that, like a gold grill, like a Lil Jon or a Lil Wayne grill going?
If it was to motivate my players, yeah. I would never do it just because.
No, I know. Seeing a coach have fun like that is good. But
I think that's great.
It's just it was funny to see like a coach actually going through with something.
I think
like
that's cool. It's kind of like Rick Pitino telling Louisville, if they won the championship, he'd get a tattoo. Yeah, it's a fun little thing.
Yeah. So let's get into last night's news.
All right.
obviously you're a big Badger fan.
Yes.
I'm Marquette. So, from your perspective, I mean, how do you view the future of Badger basketball going forward?
Well, going back to the summer when he said that, this year is going to be my last year, that was like a punch to the gut, because they just made 2 straight Final Four appearances.
No, I thought he officially retired and then decided he was going to come back for this year.
No,
okay.
He said, this is going to be my last year.
Okay.
And then he kind of said, maybe I'll stick around. And now, obviously, last night he said, I'm done.
Yep.
I'm not as upset as I thought I'd be, mostly because they're 7-5 right now. They're not the team that they've been the past couple of years. They're not going to win the Big Ten. They might not even make the tournament. Who knows? I mean, right now I don't really know.
Yeah. Well, I think they're on a bit of a winning streak right now, compared to when they started.
Right. Okay. They'll make the tournament.
Yeah, I think that they make the tournament regardless.
But they certainly won't make the Final Four.
Yeah. I think we agree there.
So, and obviously Greg Gard's going to be the guy now. And I think hopefully he'll stick around for a while.
Greg Gard, you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think he's kind of been preparing for this for the last couple of years. Did he get interviewed for the Green Bay job? Or did they even ask him?
I'm not 100% sure. Because I know that Bo... This was going to be my next question for you. So,
okay.
Regarding Greg Gard, Bo Ryan obviously has been promoting Gard, saying that he wants him to be the successor and take over the program and be the next head coach after he retires and all this. And to me, I personally think that the reason Bo Ryan didn't retire after last year was because Wisconsin was not willing to commit to Gard as their head coach. And I think this way, because Bo Ryan is so big on Gard's potential as a head coach, he came back and retired mid-season because now Wisconsin they have no choice but to have him as their head coach because in a contract, the associate head coach. Do you feel like this was kind of a setup in a way to get Gard in as the head coach? Now, Wisconsin doesn't have to sign him long-term after the season if they don't want to. But do you think that this was kind of Bo Ryan's way of saying, I want this guy to be the head coach, and if you're not going to hire him, I will find a way to make him the head coach?
That's an interesting conspiracy theory there. I never thought about that. But honestly, I'm a Bo-liever.
Okay.
I'm a Bo-liever. I have a T-shirt that says I'm a Bo-liever.
Okay.
So I believe that if Bo Ryan thinks Greg Gard is the guy, Greg Gard is the guy.
Yeah.
Bo Ryan has been heading the ship and successfully heading the ship for I don't know how many years.
I think 16. Because
16
he
years.
came in right after Dick Bennett left.
Yeah, so, it's kind of like Barry Alvarez choosing Bo Bielema as head coach.
Yeah.
Brett Bielema, I'm sorry.
That's right.
I always call him Bo for some reason. But, whatever he says, let's agree to that.
Okay.
Let's make Bo Ryan the assistant athletic director.
Well, I think that for Wisconsin, I think their number one candidate, I think if Bo Ryan would have retired last year after the national championship runner-up, I think in terms of hiring a head coach, their number one target, almost essentially, not to say that it would be, is Tony Bennett, the Virginia coach. As a Wisconsin guy, his dad being the former coach of the Badgers, Tony Bennett coached at UWGB. So he's got a lot of roots here. I feel like he would be the number one guy Wisconsin would want.
If I had a choice other than Greg Gard, I would have chose Archie Miller from Dayton.
Yes, he's a fantastic basketball coach.
I think he's going to get a big job soon.
Yeah.
And I think he was very young too.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he would have brought them to get a lot of really good recruiting too.
Yeah. Now, I know obviously with schemes and stuff like that, I think that's why Bo Ryan wanted Gard there.
Exactly.
So you don't have to change it, recruiting and everything like that. What do you think are the chances in terms of a percentage that Greg Gard gets a long-term contract after the season and they don't go elsewhere for a head coach? I mean, is it a good chance?
I hope he gets it.
Okay.
Right now, I'm kind of thinking it's a 50-50 shot.
Okay.
I like the offense that they run. I think the reason it's the reason it is successful is because the Badgers don't exactly get great recruiting.
Yep.
And this makes them, or I guess this utilizes the players in a way that really wouldn't work at a Duke or a Kentucky.
Right.
Because really, in Wisconsin, it's plays, not players.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's about a 50-50 shot. But I think Wisconsin, they think they can get better recruiting.
Yeah.
And that might be, if they change to a more conventional offense, maybe guys like Diamond Stone would go to Wisconsin. That's a whole other situation with grades.
Right. That was going to be something else that I brought up was that you talk about Wisconsin doesn't necessarily get the athletes that other schools do, but they play within their system and they find players that fit their system. And with another coach, I mean, I guess one of the reasons that I kind of fell in love with Marquette is because Marquette did such a good job of keeping the Milwaukee talent in Milwaukee. And I'm very big on that. I feel that your recruiting base starts at home. It starts in the talent right in the backyard.
And I agree with that.
And that attracted me to Marquette. But I feel like Wisconsin, they do keep guys. I mean, Decker was obviously an in-state guy.
They get a lot of guys from Minnesota, too.
Right. They actually get a lot of guys outside of Wisconsin. And I feel like where you talked about Archie Miller, that I think Tony Bennett would be able to keep those guys here. You know what I mean? A Diamond Stone or a Jordan Poole who just committed to Michigan as one of the top guards in the country. I feel like Wisconsin almost not that what they're doing is bad, but I feel like, I mean, as somebody who lives in the state of Wisconsin, I'd like to see Wisconsin have more Wisconsin guys, so to speak, versus going elsewhere. You know what I mean? Keep the talent home.
Right. I mean, I think that's best case scenario. I'm trying to think. Did any other recruits come from Wisconsin?
Past year? Well, they had the one foreign kid who's ineligible. They had...
Because, when I think of their top recruits was Iverson and Ilikainen.
Yeah, and
neither of them are from Wisconsin.
Right. I know, like, Koenig's from Wisconsin. He's from La Crosse. Showalter's from Germantown.
Kaminsky was from Illinois.
Kaminsky was an Illinois guy. Jackson was from Ohio. I can't... I think the last Wisconsin guy would have been Gasser, Port Washington.
And Decker.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to take a break.
Yeah.
Let's take a break. We're going to get into 21 questions.
Okay.
I'm going to make it a little easier for Richie this time. I think he'll get it.
No Doug Christie.
I think he'll get it. I think you'll get it this time. If you don't, I'll be very disappointed.
Very disappointed.
But, all right, it'll be fun, though.
Okay.
Be right back.
All right.
Okay, Richie, give me your best evil laugh. All right, here's my... What do you think? Is that good? We'll work on it.
We'll work on it.
So, Richie, you big fan of Donald Trump? You
No,
big Trump fan? No.
Not really.
Well, one guy that is, one athlete, Tom Brady.
Oh, interesting.
He's supporting Donald Trump.
All right.
That kind of surprised me. He said they're good friends.
Well, okay. That kind of makes sense now.
Bunch of rich people hanging around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you now that you say, well, because they're friends. That's what I would have said. I would have said if they were friends, that I can understand that. But
I would just say nothing. Because, even if Donald Trump was my buddy, and he's, saying all this stuff, I'm not getting into politics or anything.
Yeah. Well, and actually, an interesting fact with World Wrestling, WWE, there was actually... So, Donald Trump, they have a celebrity wing of in their Hall of Fame where they actually have, their wrestlers and then their celebrities who are involved, like Mike Tyson, Mr. T, and whatnot. And Donald Trump
He shaved McMahon's head.
Yes, so he is in the Hall of Fame, and Vince inducted him into their Hall of Fame and everything. And actually, there was a lot of fans who were saying that Donald Trump should be removed from the WWE Hall of Fame, and that's exactly what Vince said. Vince goes, "We do not get involved in politics. We want nothing to do with it. We're going to leave it as is. We don't want to create something that's newsworthy for no reason." Yeah, I agree. I think that's the way you go about it. You say nothing.
Yeah. All right. 20 questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I have the person's wiki page here, so if you have any questions, like stat-wise,
Yep.
I'm on it.
Okay. NFL player?
Hang on. NFL player, yes.
Yes, okay. Active player?
Yes.
Okay. Offensive player?
No.
Defense. Okay. Does this person play the linebacker position?
I'm going to say no.
No. Okay. So that would mean probably plays in a 3-4 defense?
Hang on.
Okay.
I'm going to look this up.
Because if you had to think about playing linebacker, that means there's an adjustment at some point where this person either plays linebacker sometimes and plays defensive end others. So I'm guessing that would be like a rotational 3-4 where he plays 4-3 defensive end and 3-4 maybe outside linebacker.
Crap, I did not think you were going to ask this question.
Okay.
I'm going to say it's the only answer I can give you is like I'm not going to count that question actually.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not going to count it.
So let me.
So
okay.
it's
so
kind of sort of
okay.
Okay, but going back to your linebacker
question.
he's not known as a linebacker.
Not known
When you think of him, he's not a linebacker.
Okay.
That's the best I can give you.
Okay.
And you'll understand when you
I got you.
get the player.
Does this player play in the AFC?
Yes. So you're at 5 questions.
Yep.
Okay.
Does this player known for playing for one team?
No.
No.
You're going to get him.
I'm gonna get him.
I know.
It's not who I thought it was because he hasn't played for one team. I originally thought this isn't a guess, but up until that point, I thought Terrell Suggs.
Okay.
But Terrell Suggs has played only for Baltimore.
All right.
Okay.
Now, obviously, I can't say if it's Terrell Suggs or not because
Right. But Terrell Suggs has only played for Baltimore, so I know it's because I said if they only played for one team, and you said no. So, AFC, not known for playing linebacker, so known for playing defensive end is my guess.
Yeah. Okay.
AFC, not one team. Does this player play in the West?
No.
No. Not West. Is this player the best at his position?
I wouldn't say that. No.
No. Okay. So we have the South, the North, and the East. Okay. Trying to think of some good questions here.
Mm-hmm.
Has this player won a Super Bowl?
He has not.
No Super Bowls. Okay.
Oh, it's a guy, by the way. That's a freebie.
Oh.
He is a male.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was my next question.
Oh,
male or
right.
female, so you
Well, that's a freebie. There you go.
Okay. He has not won a Super Bowl, but he's played for multiple teams. He plays defense. He plays defensive end. Okay. Does this player play in New England?
He does not play in New England.
Okay. Okay. Does he play for Buffalo?
He does.
Does this man drive go-karts?
I have no idea.
Okay. I didn't know if you were going to get the joke there. He's not an elite player. He's not known for playing for that team. This is going to be a guess. Now, do I only get one guess and I'm done?
No. If you get a guess and you get it wrong, it counts as a question.
Okay. So my guess is Mario Williams.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why I asked if he drives go-karts as the Super Mario go-kart. It was supposed to be a joke. But.
Oh. See, the reason why I was stuck because do they play in the 3-4 right now? Because it's Rex Ryan. Last year they were in the 4-3.
Right.
And
with Doug Marrone. Yep.
Well, and Jim Schwartz was their defense coordinator.
Right.
But I don't know if they switched.
I don't know, honestly.
Because I thought Rex Ryan said when he was hired they were going to switch him to a 3-4. But I think Mario is clearly better as a defensive end.
And that was one of the reasons why Mario actually went to Buffalo, because
he
was with Houston.
And then they switched to linebacker.
Yep, they switched. They moved an outside linebacker, and he still had a great season, but wanted to play defensive end, and Buffalo signed him because he fit that. So I don't know.
So I think they're in their 4-3. Because possible. Then they also have Jerry Hughes at defensive end.
And I know Darius is a D tackle. And I don't know if they have Kyle Williams anymore.
I believe, I think Kyle Williams is at defensive tackle.
Yeah, so then it would have been it would be Jerry Hughes, Kyle Williams, Marcel Darius, Mario Williams.
That's what I was thinking, because that is the best way to utilize their defense.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think, even though Rex Ryan loves playing in the 3-4, that's best for the team.
Yeah, right. No, I agree with you. I guess I didn't really prepare questions and was just kind of going.
See, I knew you'd get them.
I was gonna ask about college, but I was like, no. Because whereas the NBA, like you brought up Doug Christie, back then you didn't have to go to college, and that's why I asked that question about Doug Christie. But it's kind of hard with college. You have to go for 3 years, so it's kind of hard to bring up a guy's collegiate career because there's so much collegiate and professional. That was a good one. Mario Williams. So now we're tied 1-1. Now you got
all right. Okay, I mean, if you want to keep score, I'll throw you the backup fullback from Tulsa.
Please don't. All right. Well, that was good. That was fun.
All right. That was a good show, too.
Yes.
All right. At the top of the show, I was all pumped up. Now I'm tired.
Yeah, I mean, same. I think finals is upon us, and we're just kind of warm.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, I'm ready. I watched the first episode of Game of Thrones last night.
The very first, like the
very
pilot
first
episode?
Yes.
Okay.
I liked it.
Yeah.
So
Did you watch that on Netflix or?
I watched it on that
on
site
Cody?
you told. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you're joining in on what you would like to call the illegal.
It is highly illegal.
No.
I think no. If any of it is illegal, it's that they're showing movies like Creed and Hunger Games that they're out in theaters right now.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm gonna go see a movie that's out in theaters, I'm gonna pay the $8.
Right. I get that. Now here's why it's not illegal, is because downloading is illegal, or if you were to go to a movie theater and you record the movie with a camera, that's illegal. And then to burn that to a disc and sell it is illegal, but you're not doing any of that. You're streaming it, which it's legal to stream TV, live sporting events. It's all legal.
I don't know.
So you're not going to watch any of the movies that are in theaters currently?
Well, I watched like the first 30 seconds of Creed, and it was terrible quality.
Okay, yeah.
It was bad.
So I know like some like Hunger Games, they didn't have any good ones. It was just all cam stuff. You don't want to watch that.
No.
Yeah. I usually wait till they come out on DVD to watch them anyway. So it's not like I'm stealing. Yeah, it's not like I'm actually like, oh, this movie's in theaters, I'm going to go watch this. Screw everybody. I get what you're saying. I use it mainly for the TV shows anyway, not the movies. But
yep. All right. Well, on that note, we are done with the show.
Yeah, we are.
Thank you guys so much for listening.
Yep.
Remember to subscribe, like us on Facebook. We appreciate any support whatsoever.
Absolutely.
Tell your friends. Tell your grandma.
Tell Santa Claus when he stops
Tell
by.
Santa. Tell your dog.
Yeah.
Tell your cranky neighbors.
Yep.
Tell anybody.
Tell everybody. All right, guys.
All right.
We will see you Friday.
Thanks so much.